Many people complain that electric vehicles aren't as mature as their internal combustion rivals. But if there's one thing that electric cars have going for them, it's the forward-looking exterior styling that they use to differentiate themselves from traditional petrol-powered cars. If only there was a car that offered that cool electric car styling over top a traditional ICE powertrain. That's exactly what this Geely Icon aims to do. Closely based on the concept car of the same name that was revealed at the 2018 Beijing Auto Show, the Icon cribs some of the distinct styling cues of electric vehicles. For starters, there's the front grille, or rather, the seeming lack of a front grille. Electric vehicles indulge in this styling cue because they lack the heat of an internal combustion engine at the front end, and so can forego the large frontal area and aerodynamic drag created by a traditional air intake.
As for the actual design language of the Icon, the whole aesthetic is dominated by two main shapes: rectangles and what Geely calls infinity loops. The rectangular motif is apparent up front, where the Icon features the latest version of the Geely's signature expanding cosmos design language. That grille now spans the entire width of the front fascia, flanked by vertically stacked headlights that contain the above-mentioned infinity loop. The side profile is just as blocky as the front. Above the main headlight units, you'll find slim upper headlights that float neatly into an accent line that traces the prominent truck-like wheel arch over the front tire. The rear tire sees a similar treatment. Out back, you have a continuation of the rectangular design from the front-end treatment, including the concentric expanding cosmos design around the rear license plate recess, as well as rectangular taillights and 3 rectangles in the rear bumper.
我们坐进车内了。
The interior of the Icon has just as much personality as the exterior. However, it does share a lot of details with the latest Geely Haoyue sedan, including the infinity loops here in the vents, this handle here on the dash, and the area around the shifter. I like the styling in here, and I suspect we'll be seeing more of these design elements in future Geely models. The interior of the Icon takes a lot of risks in terms of styling, but I think they managed to pull it all together. Sadly, those risks do not include the suicide doors of the 2018 concept, but the interior remains quite similar. Minimalism reigns, with plenty of space made for natural light, giving the entire package a more airy appearance than one might expect from traditional cheap transportation. The innovative design of the center screen and instrument cluster, which appear to be draped over the dashboard instead of glued to it, further add to the ambiance of science and technology. One small detail that seems worth mentioning, the cabin filters on the Icon are certified N95, which seems like a good thing these days, for obvious reasons. Okay, I think we've spent enough time talking about the styling. Let's hit the road. As promised, beneath the Icon's electric car styling, there beats the heart of an internal combustion vehicle. In this case, it's a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine that the Icon shares with many other Geely models and even a few Volvos. This little 3-banger puts out 177 horsepower and 255 Nm of torque through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Acceleration is adequate, with a 0 to 60 in the high 7-second range. In addition to sharing engines with other Geely models, the Icon also shares platforms. In this case, it's the Geely B-segment modular architecture. The Geely B-Niue uses the same platform and even comes in around the same price, but it wraps it all in a much more traditional small SUV package. I, for one, am genuinely curious to see which one sells better. There are actually 2 versions of the Icon, differentiated by the letters BSG. The ones with BSG add a 48-volt electrical system and an electric motor to the powertrain. The BSG model costs about €400 more than the non-BSG model, but I assure you that it is worth every penny. The BSG model has better acceleration and fuel economy. I've driven about 80 kilometers, and the car is telling me it's averaging 5 to 6 liters per 100 kilometer, which I consider really low. Of course, fuel economy depends on the road conditions and your driving habits. This is just for reference. The acceleration feels plenty quick. BSG models have a 0 to 100 km per hour time of 7.9 seconds, while non-BSG models take more than 8 seconds. Steering and braking all feel quite good. It's easy to drive without feeling cheap. The car does jump a bit over potholes and speed bumps, but it feels comfortable for a car at this price point.
但整体上说，在这个价位，开起来还算是比较舒服的。
You ever heard of 360-degree protection? Well, the Icon has you covered in 540 degrees. That's because, in addition to the 360-degree camera you've come to expect in most new cars, the Icon adds a 180-degree chassis camera, allowing you to see what's under the car as well as around it. There's also an active and passive safety system transplanted from Volvo, which is something pretty unique at this price point. The styling of electric vehicles is only going to continue to influence their ICE competition, and I highly doubt the Icon will be the last ICE vehicle to ape electric car styling cues. For some, driving a car that poses as a pure electric vehicle but uses fossil fuels might be a step too far, but I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who would love the chance to drive something that looks this unique.